My name is Ryan Burke, and I just love guitars. That's why I'm traveling the whole world to try as many as I can. You're watching 60 Cycle Hum Road Case. This episode is brought to you by Tour Gear Designs and their amazingly small and flat patch cables. Big ear pedals, harnessing the cosmic power of cats to transport you into a new sonic dimension. Gun Street Wiring Shop, unlock your guitar's hidden tones with an expertly crafted custom wiring harness. And Mono Creators. They don't make guitars or pedals, but they do make the best designed boards and bags on the planet, so you have somewhere to put them. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan. You're watching 60 Cycle Hum, and I'm somewhere different today. I'm at JHS. Behind the camera, Josh is here. All these JHSers are here.
What's that?
Making this very awkward for me. I usually do this alone in a garage and no one's watching me. So now I've got to talk and play guitar badly while they hear my unamplified signal. But anyways, my first video here. My first video of today, of this session. What am I going to do? All the pedals in the world that I could select from, I'm just going to shoot out DOD 250s. The pedal that I already know and love. But there's a bunch here that I've never tried. So I figured this is my opportunity. And then I've scratched that itch and I don't have to, kind of go crazy buying this stuff for the rest of my life. I'm going to do kind of just a simple shootout, probably against this 81 here. 1981 LF35 1N. I don't know what most of those numbers mean, but this is comparable to what I have at home, I'm assuming. I honestly suspect that all of these, most of these, are going to sound really, really close to each other. And I'm hoping that my point at the end of this will be, if you want a 250, just buy the reissue. It's got a blue LED. And they're cheap. You can find them cheap. So let's start off with the reissue, and then I'll bring this one in and we'll start shooting them out. Oh, by the way, I'm playing Josh's built guitar here, a guitar that I've long looked at on my YouTube viewer screen at home and been like, damn, I like that. That's my style. It's honestly really cool, and it feels really great. All these red plastics are actually painted over, which is a detail that you don't catch on your phone, but they're all black plastics that have been painted red, and they're all starting to relic on the edges and stuff. It's fun. It's giving me the courage to paint plastic on my guitars at home. Even the little switch up here. Anyways, there's some normal controls down here. I'm going to use these little button switches up here. They directly correspond to each pickup, so I'm going to start on the bridge mini bucker here. There is a coil cut if I want it. All right, into the dirty business now. Here's my clean signal. Oh, I've got a reverb on too. I've got the little switch here. I'll turn that off. It's a Benson reverb. Nice little splash there. I'll definitely use that in this video. But first, dry. Okay, here is the 250 reissue. I couldn't talk for a second. I tend to like these at double noon. That's where I start with every 250. It's just usually a really good balance of kind of light, crispy, but a little bit of distortion when you dig in. Let's bring in that 1981. I'm going to need that little power adapter guy because DOD had not joined the world of standardized 9-volt plugs in 1981, and much later than 1981 for some reason. Also, they didn't have LEDs for reasons. I should have this plugged in. Think, Ryan, think. It's hard to do a comparison when you don't have something plugged in, right? There we go. All right, let's see how close it is. Actually, a bit more low end from the reissue. A tricky thing with 250s is that the gain knob also acts in an EQ capacity. When you turn down the gain, it gets warmer in a preamp sort of way. When you turn it up, it gets a lot brighter. So tweaking the gain knob might actually get me closer to these sounding the same. Honestly, there's a tiny bit of difference. It's mostly like a slight EQ shift. The gain sounds identical to me. It's the same gain. But yeah, there's a slight EQ difference. But man, you give me these two different pedals at different times, and I'd be like, oh, they sound the same. I'm going to actually leave the reissue in here as the point of comparison because I'm going to need this battery clip. Over and over again, I'm sure. All right, put the 81 back in the box.
He has the box.
Because he has the box. I'm making eye contact with him while I'm saying he has the box. You guys love that joke, don't you? You love the he has the box thing. All right, this is one that Josh handed to me. It's one that he modified and said that he doesn't remember what he did to it. So we'll see if there's any difference between a JHS stickered, I'm assuming 81? I don't know, he bought it for 40 bucks at some point. Some kind of modified 250 manufactured at some point in time. Again, more low end from the reissue. Or maybe just different low end. I think the low end's just different. This is more like a low-mid sort of frequency push, where this is a low-low kind of sound. More of a mid-scoop, I think. Where this has definitely more of a mid-frequency thing happening. They sound kind of the same on that setting, though. Is that anything? No, that's nothing. Again, the gain character is identical to my ear anyways. It's really an EQ difference. Here's one that folks have asked me my opinion on over and over and over again, and I never cared enough to actually get one for myself. The Malmsteen, which apparently is slightly different. Ah, that old Malmsteen riff. So familiar, we all know it. It does sound different. It honestly just sounds like it's brighter. It's all just slight EQ changes. That's what I'm experiencing so far. It seems like the gain character stays the same throughout. I honestly might like the reissue better than the Malmsteen. Is that how you say his name? I always read it. I never say it out loud. All right, this is one that everyone talks about. They seem to think gray box 250s are the hot stuff. This one's from 1979. 2 years older than this 81, which is what I have, I think. I've got an early 80s one. It might be 81. I think it sounds pretty similar to the Malmsteen, which shouldn't be a surprise. Technically, the Fez that I have, the Nocturne Brain Fez, is supposed to be modeled after a gray box. I don't know. They're all so similar. There's not any big dramatic differences here. Honestly, so far, the reissue is the one that sounds the most different. The rest all kind of sound the same amount of different from this one, just because this has a different sort of low-end character to it. This is interesting. This should technically be the same as this. It's supposed to be a reissue that was refinished, this pink sparkle, for some guy who's apparently a Japanese pop star. Apparently pop stars in Japan use DOD 250s. Makes me want to go to Japan, honestly. It even has pretty much the exact same knobs as the reissue, which makes me think that's what this is as well, a later reissue. Same knobs. That sounds really close to this. The knobs are in different positions. I really think there's just a component variance happening between those two. Between many of these, honestly. All right. This is a 1985 later box style here. I've seen these around. It sounds like it might be a little bit buggy and might need a little bit of maintenance. This sounds different to me. This sounds fizzier. Oh, that's the level. They reversed it. This one might need a little bit of maintenance. Yeah, sounds different. I don't like it. It sounds fizzier in a way that I wouldn't grab a 250 for. Technically, it's an XF50, not a 250. It's missing 200. It's less. It's less than this one. Why would they come out with a new one that's less? Let's try it with reverb. Maybe it'll be my favorite thing with reverb. Nope. No, sir, I don't like it. It's missing all that mid frequency that you get from just a normal 250. All right. FX50B. I'm assuming same thing as this, but with an extra knob. It's got a tone control, which has a little bit of an extra boost thing on the graphic. I've always been curious about these. I've always wanted to try one. So now is my chance. Yeah, it's totally this. I'd say buy one of these over one of these because you get the tone control. It makes it, more adaptable, but I'm still not liking the sound of this circuit versus an original 250. Maybe you're hearing this and you're like, oh, that's what I want. It's more like a jangly, mid-scooped, nasal, kind of like if a tube screamer and a fuzz had a baby sort of thing. like where that ended up. Put it back in the box because he has the box. Okay.
He has the box.
This is my bit for every video I'm going to do here. If there's a box, I'm going to act like I'm exhausted by the he has a box jokes. How do you guys feel about that? Now this one is supposed to have a battery in it. We'll see if it does. This is a very, very early DOD pedal. Josh said, oh, it's number 75. Holy hell. 1972, 75th DOD overdrive preamp. And the foot just fell off of it. I'm excited for this one. This is a treat. Hopefully it works. I don't think it has a battery. Thanks, JHS team. Now I have a battery. I might need a screwdriver. This is where a screwdriver impales my face. Aha! Man, I need to move in here. This is a lot more convenient than the way I do things at home. Oh, there's our problem right there. It doesn't have a battery in it, which honestly is what I would choose to do if I was storing, you know, one of these old pedals. The last thing you need is a battery getting crusty and fuzzy in a vintage pedal. There we go. Interestingly, it seems like it's a hybrid between what became the 250 and the FX50, where it's more mid-scooped, it's brighter, fizzier, grindier in a way, but still not as bright and grindy and mid-scooped as the 50. And it has that like warmer preamp sort of character when you pull back the gain a bit. That is interesting. I actually really like the way it sounds turned all the way up. It really works turned up. But for the way I usually use a 250, I think the more standard like reissue here and the originals and the other variations so far scratch my itch a lot better. I think this it's missing that warm preamp thing that you get with the 250. But very interesting that this sounds like it shares some common ancestry with the XF50, with the FX50. I can't say it. I keep messing that up. I've probably had to edit it out like 5 times now. The FX50. I'd be interested to know, what a circuit-minded person would have to say about this as it relates to this and this and this. Is this the last one? This is the last one. Hopefully this has a battery in it. If not, I'll have to play battery doctor here. Turns out I'm a battery doctor. Mom, I'm a doctor now. Oh boy, it's gonna make me work for it, huh? Oh, it wants 6 AA's. This thing is not joking around. I guess since it's a battery amp, that makes sense. Every battery amp I've ever owned wants 6 AA's, so of course this wants 6 AA's. You can pop in and say hi, so people see who's back here. Thank you for your help. Look at that cool old circuit board in there. 2 speakers. I love the little kickstand feet on it. I don't care how this sounds right now. I would love to own one of these just because of how unique and different it is. Oh, it looks like I've got it backwards too. It's one of those backwards wired things. It's outputting from here and to the speakers right now. I'm going to test it out as a pedal first, and then I'll take off my headphones and listen to it as a battery-powered amp. That's crispy. To me, it sounds like it shares more in common with this and the FX50s. It's brighter, more scooped, crispier, but there's something about this little amp box that's so charming to me with the kickstands. It's got a nice like torn speaker sort of sound going on. I haven't even listened to the speakers yet. I like this. Even though it's not my preferred like 250 sound, it's a 650. This is charming. I might have to keep an eye out for one of these. All right, let's listen to the speaker now. I should probably point the microphone at it. This is going to be sketchy to say the least. So bright and buzzy. Yeah, I wouldn't spend any kind of real money on this to have a battery amp. I'd do it, to own a piece of obscure history, I guess. But any $20 battery amp is going to sound better than that does right now. It's charming. It's fun. I'm glad I tried it. It didn't blow my mind as a battery amp. So we'll close out with the 81 and the reissue. Do another quick comparison just to drive home the fact that I think the reissue sounds great. It's got a different low-end character than all of these. It actually has a fairly unique low-end character. But these are not expensive pedals. You can find the more original style, maybe not an 81, but you can find a more original style for inexpensive. These are not expensive pedals, even the older ones, especially not the reissues. And I think that if you're DOD 250 curious, there's no reason to go hunting down like a gray box, or even, something fun and sparkly like this. Or even, maybe you want to hunt down the Malmsteen, because it does seem like it's voiced a little bit different in the EQ territory, but it seems like they all are. And Josh was saying before I started doing this here, he was like, oh yeah, I went through a bunch of gray boxes and they all had totally different specs. So that might not even be, something to shop for, the color of the paint. Honestly, I think the reissue sounds better right now. That low end that it has is more modern. Obviously, the sort of thing where if you don't want that low end and you're making a recording, you can easily dial that out in post and you still have the same gain character. I guess if you're using one to drive an amp, then that matters to you. But to me, I actually kind of like this. I should probably own a reissue. And you get the blue LED. LED in general. I honestly think I prefer the reissue. Oh man, that's a revelation. I'm going to have to buy one now. All right, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me rude, nasty comments. Support us on Patreon. You know what? Huge thanks to JHS, the whole team over here, for hosting me, having me over for 2 days. I'm going to film a ton of stuff here. You know what? They need it. So go over and subscribe to their channel as well. Yeah, they need the numbers as much as I do. But anyways, bye everyone. Stay grounded.